Pricing your home in Palencia is not just throwing out a square footage number and being done with it. Pricing is really an art, and it partly is science, but it's mainly an art. Like, I can tell you the dollar amount that a home is worth, a square footage amount, and you can just take it and go with it. But there are a lot of homes in Palencia that have not sold at a square footage price that you might think. In addition, there are so many different tiers of homes inside of Palencia that you can't really put one single square footage number on every single home. So in this video, I'm going to walk through all the different price points and explain to you what the square footage price is based upon your square footage and how you can figure out the price of your home without having an agent in. So let's get into it. Hey, it's me, Kati, and I'm a Palencia resident and a local real estate agent. You may have seen me. I play tennis, I run the loop, go to the Palencia Club, so I may have seen you around in the area. And in today's video, I really wanted to get into some deep conversation about the square footage price. And this is partly because somebody had reached out to me and asked me about the different square footage dollar price per square foot in Palencia North and Palencia South. So for the purposes of this video, I'm going to be calling the Marshall Creek CDD Palencia South. I'm going to be using Palencia North for the Sweetwater CDD. Generally, it is not a normal term to be using Palencia South. That's not used a lot, but just for the purposes of this video, this is how I'm going to distinguish the two. So you may know in Palencia that we have two different CDDs. Now, the Sweetwater CDD is Palencia North and the Marshall Creek CDD is Palencia South. And typically what you're going to see is that Palencia South has higher priced homes, but they also have larger lots. Now, Palencia North has newer homes, but there are a lot of smaller lots. So it's kind of hard to come up with a square price per foot for all of Palencia, but I kind of think I did it. So I want to get into that. I know many times you're looking at your neighbor's house and you're thinking, holy cow, they got that, or holy cow, they didn't get what they asked. And that's really important for you to understand is you can't price your home just based upon what your neighbor has their home price for. It really goes into all these sold homes. You really need to understand the sold homes. And so all of my data today is pulled from sold homes in the last 12 months. This number is going to change. It will go up and down. I do see the market in Palencia shifting a little bit and homes are on the market a little bit longer. However, I do believe that if you are priced correctly and your home shows right, you should be able to sell within 30 to 60 days. That truly is my rule of thumb. So why don't I go ahead and just tell you some of my data, and then we're going to look at some examples that really closed in Palencia. So I broke Palencia down into 4 price points, and this includes North and South. I didn't really break that up. It naturally breaks up on its own, but let's talk about North and South, and let's talk about the square footage that your home has. If you are 2,500 square feet and below, you're most likely going to be selling for about $250 a square foot. Now that puts you at about $750,000 and lower. It is going to be tough for you if you have a 2,500 square foot home to sell above that 750. Now the average days on market for that price point is about 62 days. And the next price point is 2,500 to about 3,200 square feet. Now I'm putting that at about $265 a square foot. So go ahead and take your square footage, multiply it times 265. And what you're going to find is that you are from $1 million down. So 750 to $1 million. Might be a little bit less. It's going to be very, very hard to break that $1 million mark if you only have 3,200 square feet or less. Now the days on market again are about 60 on that too. So it might be a little more than I really want it to be, but you know, it's going to be right around that 60 days. Now, if you are at the 3,200 to 4,000 square foot home, you can take your square footage and you can multiply that times $310. Now that is going to bring you into the range of $1 million to $1.5 million. And you know, that is kind of a difficult place right now to be in Palencia. You really have to make sure you stand out if you are in that location with your staging, with, you know, the features in the house, making sure the house looks fantastic. So that is going to be about 70 days on the market right now. Again, a little more than I would hope. And it has gone up a little bit, so the market is a little bit soft here right now. If you are over about 4,000 square feet, that is about $390 a square foot. Now, it can be a little bit more, it can be a little bit less. If you are not 4,000 square feet, it's going to be really hard for you to charge above that 1.5 price point. And if you are thinking you want to be above that 1.5 and you have just a touch over 4,000, I don't recommend it in this market right now. You really probably need to be under 1.5 in order to get that look from those people that see that as a value. Again, this is about 79 days on the market being a luxury market. So I really want you to be selling within 30 to 60 days. That's my goal, is to make sure the house is priced correctly and to make sure it looks fantastic. All right, so I did tell you before, I do have another YouTube channel, which is all about getting your home ready to sell fast for more money, stress-free. I have over 60,000 subscribers on that channel, but this channel is specifically for Palencia residents because I want to go deep into the community where I live. I am very, very passionate about making sure our property values stay high, making sure that we as a community are working together to make this the best place to absolutely live. And when I looked for a home a few years ago, I loved Palencia. I fell absolutely in love with it, and that's what I want to convey out to the rest of the world. So if you are looking for help, I've got my seller's playbook that you can download. This is specific to Palencia. Go ahead and click on the link. My generic seller's playbook has been downloaded over 20,000 times, but this one I've done especially for you in Palencia. So go ahead and make sure you download it at palencia.homes. Okay, so I want to show you a few homes that are kind of outliers from what I was talking about, if you remember the price points that I was saying. So let me go ahead and get into this first home. Okay, so this first house is in Palencia South. So as you can see, it sold for $450,000, but it had 2470 square footage. I said this is a $250 square foot if you're under 2,500 square feet. So this puts it at 617. Now you can see that this home closed at 450. So I want to show you why this home did not close for what it should have closed for. So the first thing that you're going to see is that some of the photography looks not great, right? It looks a little not great. And there really wasn't much of a presentation here. Now that can have something to do with it, but it really was the lowest priced home in Palencia at the time. So I don't really know if that's what it was. Now, as you can see, this is a corporate seller and they probably didn't take very good care of this home. And you can see that they preferred cash or hard money, seller to make no repairs, lender required or otherwise. So you can see that this was just somebody that really did want to get rid of the home. And it just didn't present real well. It wasn't this lovely home in Palencia. It was probably a tenant home where people were renting it. And usually tenant homes don't look as good. So this house actually sold for $182 a square foot, which was much, much lower than the $250 I originally quoted you. But you can probably see why in this specific instance that it sold less than the $250. The other thing is that you can see it was positioned kind of funny on that lot there, and it really didn't have much of a backyard. So many people in Palencia love their backyards, they love their location, and this one just didn't quite fit into it. So this house, it definitely veered from the $250 a square foot, but you can see why. So if you are under the 2,500 square feet, I want you to start with the $250, and then I want you to kind of work backwards and then say, what is my condition? How old is the home? Is it in great shape? Is there any deferred maintenance? Have I updated anything? Things that might not make you a lot of money when you go to sell your home because it's just not something that's super attractive. So from there, you're going to need to understand. Now, if you need an agent to come in, I'm more than happy just to run over, take a look at your house and give you that real number that I think that your house probably should be valued on based upon what you have in your current home. So the next house I want to show you actually was about 3,900 square feet, so almost 4,000 square feet, where you might be looking at that luxury home. Now this house only closed for $980, and so there's a real difference in square footage price on this. That puts us about $246 a square foot. Now in this square footage, I'm really saying you're about $265 a square foot. Why did this one sell for $240 a square foot? So the first thing I'm going to mention, and I hate to say this, but as a rule of thumb, Palencia North does sell for a little bit lower than Palencia South. And when you see this location, you're going to see that it's just not as strong as some of the really large lots in Palencia South, a little bit more cookie cutter home. I mean, you do have some really nice homes over there as well, but it has to be very specific, and you need to understand what was it about this home that did not get the price point that it needed to. So let's take a look at some of the pictures. That's a really super cute picture with that floaty there. It does have a pool, which is nice. As you can see, it's very minimal landscaping. The yard is okay. It is fenced. That pool is really nice. It's got an outdoor eating center. That's great. So when those are put at the front of the photos, it usually means that those are the best features of the house. Now, this does have a 3-car garage, which is also very nice. And inside, it looks really good too. It's not super cute, I would say, but it's not dated at all. This house was built in 2019, so it's even newer. But as you look at it, you can see, it might be a little bit builder grade, and in that location in Palencia North, it is going to be a touch less. So one thing about this house is it does have a very, very large bonus room, which is about 448 square feet. And so with that, a lot of people may not find that to be of value. So you kind of have to think about it. Some people do find it of value and some people don't. So just keep that in mind as well. The other thing about this house that might be a little bit of an issue is that it's got this like triangular yard with this fence. Some people may not like how that sits on the lot, which is maybe why the price was brought down. So the thing about this house, though, is that they listed at a great price. They listed at $1 million and it was sold within 2 weeks for $980. So that is a really, really key point. And the agent who listed this house did a great job, because by listing it at $1 million rather than $999, listing at $1 million gets you the people looking $1 million and up and the people looking up to $1 million. That's why this was a great strategy on this house, and this seller probably got everything out of the house that they could. That sold pretty quickly, 2 weeks. So this is really quite a big house for over there. You don't get a lot of them that are this size. So if you are in Palencia North and you do have a larger square footage, I definitely want to talk to you about how you can make sure that your home is going to be priced correctly when you go to sell. I mean, this is a very darling home. I'm going to say that one of the reasons that this did not sell for a higher square footage is because of being in Palencia North. Now, being in Palencia South or Palencia North doesn't necessarily matter. The community is fantastic. It's just the builders were totally different when they built these homes. And so you get a different type of home, you get a different type of lot, you get a different type of structure. So there is just a difference, and you just need to understand that. Is if you're going and you're saying, what is the average price point in all of Palencia? And you're saying, oh, it's $300 a square foot. You really do have to look at all of these different variables, because it is, like I said, it's an art and it's not a science. Okay, the other house I want to do is this house that had 4,500 square feet. Now this one will be one of our luxury homes at $390 a square foot. However, this one did not sell that high. It sold about $378 a square foot. And these, like I said, this is not an exact science. So this is an art. This is going to give you kind of your baseline in your field. And one of the things about this house is it's probably one of the first homes in the whole development. It was built in 2003. And so when you're working with these homes that are built in 2003, first of all, you're going to find that many of them are on the larger lots, which is nice. They're premium lots. They have a little bit more of a dated layout. And if you haven't done any updating, the homes could be more dated. So let's go ahead and see, is this home dated? I think that outside is super cute. I love this street too. And I mean, these are really nice pictures that they did. Very, very good. Looks great. The flooring looks really nice. Actually looks like real wood on the floor. I don't know if that is, but that looks really nice. So it's not looking super dated. They've got some fresh colors in there, with the blue and the whites, and it looks really nice. Now that yellow color is a touch dated. So I just want you guys to know, and I talk about this all the time, is if you have some yellows in your house and you're looking to freshen them up, you really want to be some type like a grayish, which is like kind of a gray beige. It's a grayish beige color. I know, it's a little weird. I've got that in my seller's playbook if you're interested. But sometimes this color yellow is a little bit dated, and anything warm in a home right now is a little bit dated. But you can see this color right here looks really nice. So it may just be the way the photos were taken. So this kitchen looks like identical to my kitchen, and this is an original kitchen. So you can say that if they had updated their kitchen, they might have been able to get more dollars per square foot, but this is the original kitchen, and it's in great shape. I mean, the house looks wonderful and clean, but it is just a touch dated. I think there are a lot of great features in this house. This house has 158 pictures in it, so that's kind of a bit. But the bathroom is also not super updated either, so this is original as well. So now looking at that $390 base square footage price, you can say, okay, they have a couple things that are dated, but they are in a luxury lot. They do have a bigger home, and so that puts that at $390, but you have to take it away just a touch because some things are dated. So in reality, they did sell almost at that price point. So if you looked at what $390 times their square footage was, you come out at $1,780,000. So they sold for $1,725,000. So that's really very, very close. So as you kind of figure out with your home, know that I'm not talking, this is not an exact science. Like I said, you've got to kind of finesse it. You've got to be honest with yourself. You got to say, do I have anything that's broken in my house? Do I have anything that needs to be fixed? Do I have any dated things? Is my kitchen original? Because a home is worth what a buyer is willing to pay for it. And in this market right now, when it is a little bit soft, you have to make sure that your price is correct and the home looks fantastic. Now, also, you have to have a great agent. So even if you're not going to use me, I want to make sure that you use an agent who is excellent. So I have a lot of free resources for you if you're thinking about selling your home. I have my Facebook group. This is a private Facebook group for just sellers who are thinking about selling their homes, and I help you in there, get your home ready. We talk about pictures, no pressure, no commitment at all. There's about 5,000 people in there. And then I have my seller's playbook that I told you specifically for Palencia. Now, if you are thinking that you just want to be set up on a search, on a market search, all my contact information is below, and I can just set you on a search that shows you all the homes that are coming on the market in Palencia, all the homes that have sold, no obligation, no pressure at all, because that's just not how I am. I don't roll that way. So I would love to meet you, and if you see me playing tennis or running around the loop or just at the club, something like that, go ahead and say hi. I'd love to say hello. And if you need anything with your house, you just have a question, I'm more than happy to help you out. See you around the loop.